Alright, so what's going on, guys? Gonna look at the basics of using Adobe Premiere for you guys to create your video sequences. Right, so you'll start off with a home screen like this. It will have your give you the option of creating a new project. Just gonna click new project on the new project panel. You're gonna get this pop up. Don't bother changing any of this stuff. All of this stuff is perfectly fine. Just hit OK. Project ready. It might tell you this, it might not. I don't know how the ones where you guys are it's gonna work, but just hit yes. We're then gonna have this screen pop up or something similar to this. It might be slightly different. But what do we have here? We've got the media library, so everything that we're going to be working with will be bringing to here. This is the timeline, so right now there's nothing on there, so there is no time set because we don't have any things placed there. The effect control, so once we bring something in, once we bring a clip or JPEG or whatever in, then we will see options pop up here regarding the effects. This is the view screen, so we see what we're editing, and up here we have a series of tabs. We've got assembly, editing, color, effects, audio, graphics, libraries. So we're going to mainly be working in editing. We're not going to affect anything else at all. Right, so literally all we need to do is we find the things that we want to edit or that we want to put on. So whether it's a video clip, so I'm going to bring in just by clicking. So it's on my desktop, you can't see it because it's on the other side. Just clicking, dragging and dropping it into where it says import media to start. We've got one clip. I'm going to bring in another clip. I'm going to bring in an MP3 file, so a music file we can also bring in, a PNG file. This would also work with a JPEG file, and another video file. So what we're going to cover in this session, we're going to cover how to import footage, which we just did. We're going to place it onto the timeline. I'm going to show you guys how to cut footage, how to change the speed, how to adjust the volume, and how to add text, and of course how to export the media. Alright, so we're going to start off by bringing in our first clip. So literally I'm just clicking, dragging it, and as you can see on the cursor you've got a little plus symbol because we're going to drag it and drop it onto the timeline. Here we can see the break of what it is that we're looking at. This here, what I'm scrubbing backwards and forwards, that is known as the playhead. So that goes through, so if I hit the space bar then it'll play through that clip, which is just my introduction. Yep, so just by hitting spacebar it starts it and stops it. I'm going to bring in another clip. So you see when you drag in the clip, you can see that it appears on top. Literally you can just butt them up next to each other and then it will go from one clip to the next. So from the ending of that one, it literally jumps straight into the next clip. Alright, so that is very, very straightforward, very easy to do. You can literally bring in all of your clips and adjust them and bring them in and stack them in front of each other, stack them next to each other. Yep, so we're stacking them just next to each other, so you can see it goes from one into the next. But say for example if we wanted to take that clip and we wanted to cut it there, so we wanted to split it and then bring this clip in between, we can easily do that. If we look at our tools, what we've got here, we have the razor tool, which allows us to cut our clip. So we're just going to click onto that, and as you can see where it has got the playhead, where the playhead is set, it will automatically snap to that point. So I'm just going to click on that, and now you can see that one clip is now two, so it's two separate clips now. So I'm just going to drag this one away, make the space, bring this one in between, and then reposition that. Now as you can see, when you click onto a clip in the effects controls up here, then we can see different options and options regarding the clip. So we can see the clip that we're actually working with, which is the intro logo clip. And if we go onto that clip, if we adjust, say for example, the position, so if we adjust that just by clicking and dragging it, you can see it moves it up and down the screen. And the same works for scale. So if we wanted to resize that, then we could do the same thing by increasing or decreasing the scale. So we could either click left click and drag up and down, or we can select the circle here just for a little more accuracy and adjust that. Same with the rotation. Rotation will allow us to rotate our clip. We could select the anchor point to decide on where the point of rotation is. Change the level of opacity, making it 100%. We can apply a keyframe to increase or decrease the opacity as we so choose. We've got the effects of the volume. I'm not going to show you guys another way to adjust the volume a little later. Okay, so we've got our clip, but I want to, again, I'm going to cut this clip here roughly in the middle, and then I'm going to reposition so that we've got the interchange between the two clips. I'm just going to drag this one back across, so we're going to have the flashing in between the two clips. So it's going to bounce to that clip, from that clip to this clip, and then from that clip back to that clip, and then back to that clip again. Right, so a really easy edit. But say for example we want to have some music playing over the back of it. As you can see, there are two channels. So you've got this top one, which is the visual, and the bottom one, which is the audio. When you click onto any one of those clips, then you'll see that it's connected. So when you select one, then it selects both of them. That's because they're both linked together. If we want to place a piece of audio over it and mute the audio from the previous channel, we can easily get rid of that by selecting, right click, go to unlink. So we've unlinked those, selecting the bottom, which is the audio, and then just hitting backspace or delete on the keyboard. Now there is no audio attached to that clip. I'm going to bring in my MP3 file and placing that there. Now if we were to play this, so I'm going to get rid of that last bit because I don't need that end bit. So as you can hear, when you're clicking and you're scrubbing through, then you can hear it playing on the right hand side here. So here, what we can see is we can see the levels. So that's how loud the clip is. Yeah, so if it's too loud, then it will be up in the reds, going orangey kind of red. So we want it lower. So I've just cut that audio clip the same way that I'd have cut a video clip. Select the bit that I don't want, backspace, now that's gone. Now with this audio clip, I'm going to select it. So as you can see, we've got different adjustments in our editing panel. We've got levels. So right now it is quite loud, so set 0 decibels. I'm going to scrub it downwards, which is going to go to the minus, and that's going to bring the volume down. Another way of doing this is we can just right click on it and go to audio gain, and where it says adjust gain by, and then we've got the amount of decibels, we can click minus and say minus 20 decibels, hit OK. You can see that clip seems like it's flattened out. Alright, and the clip is now playing much lower. Right, so that's just by adjusting the amount of decibels that plays by. Cool, so we've brought in those clips, we've cut them up, we've readjusted their sequence, and we've added an audio over the top of it, which is cool. But I want my logo to act as a watermark, so I'm going to now bring in my PNG. Now remember, with a PNG file, we can maintain the transparency that we would have got in Photoshop. I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to place that over the top, so that will just be there. So you see what I just done there? I just clicked on the edge of that and extended how long that's going to stay on screen for. Because it's a JPEG, or because it's an image, it's easy enough to do that because it doesn't have to adjust any so you can see we've got the logo just placed in the center, but we want to reposition that. So I'm going to select the logo itself, I'm going to go to position, and I'm going to readjust that. So I'm going to click and drag. So I'm going to drag that up, and I'm going to place that in the bottom right corner. So I've just adjusted that, so we've got that nice logo in the bottom corner, and then that will stay on screen for the duration that we have that set. We could even extend it just a little beyond the end of the clip, so it maintains on screen, so it stays on screen after that is all done. As we've changed the volume, we could also change the speed of the clip. So we're going to go to this last clip here. Alright, so we've got this final clip, and I want to slow that down a bit. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click onto it. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to speed duration. So right now it's set at 100%. 100% is 3 seconds and 52 milliseconds. Now if I change that percentage to 200, then you see it's gone down to 1 second and 56. So that's sped it up, you know, so it's doubled its speed. If I wanted that to go slower, and I went to say 50%, then it will double the speed of the clip, because it's 50% slower than it would play at normal speed. Let's see what happens when I hit OK. See, I've hit OK, and it extended beyond because the clip is now double the speed. Is now half as fast as it was. So let's have a quick look. So it slowed it right the way down. Yeah. So let's bring back our audio clip in again and just readjust that so that we have got. So again, we're going to cut the clip, audio clip, select, get rid of that bit. Let's decrease that sound again by right clicking, audio gain -20. So we can do on that last clip there, it just cuts out quite sharply. What we can do is we can apply a default transition which will fade that out nicely. So on that last clip, I'm just going to click onto the end of the clip. I'm going to right click and then apply default transition, which gives us a nice basic fade to black. So if we just, there we go. And we can even apply that on our logo also. So default transition, apply default transition. And when we come to the end of that clip, that fades out nicely, as does our logo. Let's just bring this a little further forward. I'm just gonna nudge that forward a bit. Cool, so we've created a nice little 25-second clip. Up here we can see how long our clip is that we're creating, our video sequence is. And that is pretty much it as a basic introduction of how you cut together your video. Another thing you guys might want to do is add text. So that's simply same as it is in Photoshop and Illustrator. If you just click on your type tool and then click onto your screen, so just up here, and then type whatever you're going to type. So I'm just going to type demo, and as you can see, it creates another layer with it on there. We can then adjust that. So with it selected, then you can adjust the position. If you want to reposition that, and you can, but that's just kind of so you guys can see it. In the same way that we dragged previously, I'm going to bring that a little earlier so that it just pops up out of nowhere and then disappears. Okay, so that's how you add text onto your video. And again, the position and things like that can easily be adjusted to wherever you want it to go. Now, exporting your video file is quite important, because you need to export it in a format that is going to be viewable by the majority of your machines. Now, one thing about Premiere Pro is that everything that we see here isn't actually here. What this is, this gives us a reference to where these files are on our computer. So if, for example, we create our video sequence like this, we save it as a Premiere Pro document, we then move the files from wherever they are. So if they're saved on our desktop, we move them to a folder. When we come back into Premiere Pro to continue editing, Premiere isn't going to know where those files are. So you'll need to relocate them. You'll get an error message to say that it doesn't know where they are and it's confused and you're scaring it. So what you need to do is make sure that when you're working in Premiere, that you have your files in a place that you're not going to be moving them around, because you will confuse the program. Once we've exported it and we export it as an MP4, then it doesn't matter, because that video will then be a separate video in itself, unless we're going to go back into edit in Premiere. But with your Premiere documents, when you're working in Premiere, make sure that you keep your files in a location that you're not going to be moving them around. Otherwise, you're going to need to go through the whole thing of resetting them, or relocating them, sorry. All right, so let's quickly file, saved it as an untitled doc thing. What you guys will save it properly. Right, so to export file, we go to File, scroll down to Export, Export Media. We're going to change the format to H.264. Preset, what I usually do for my videos, I just go to YouTube 720 HD, export video, audio, that's all good. The output name, you might want to click on that and change that. It's test, video file MP4, save. You can select this little playhead thing here, which will allow you to choose the thumbnail for your video. We're gonna hit export. Premiere will then start exporting the video for you. This is a short video, so it will only take a few seconds to export. Once it's done that, then your video will be accessible. You'll be able to open it, and so concludes the Premiere Pro tutorial. Right, so that's the basics.